Well, I've finally done it. I have 100%ed Elden Ring. Twice. Yeah, I enjoyed this game so much to the point where after 100%ing it on PC, I thought, I'm gonna do it again on PS5. I double dipped, and you know what? It was worth it. My bank account disagrees though. There are people still on their first playthrough and I'm here doing this shit. I am a fucking loser. Okay, so I wrote insert witty maidenless joke here, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. If I was to give Elden Ring a final rating, I would honestly give it a solid 9.8 out of 10. The 0.2 taken off is because of the performance, and the fact the game crashed like 3 times within the 100 odd hours I played. This game is borderline perfect in my opinion. It's almost everything I've wanted from an open world Souls game. So let's talk about it. By the way, spoiler warning ahead, if you haven't played it already, go play it, but make sure to leave a like on this video and come back to it later. Let's go. Actually, wait, no. Instead, let's begin with a little bit of history of my experience with From Software games. I originally got into the Dark Souls series back in 2016 with Dark Souls 3. I was 15 years old and very close-minded about games, so this was a huge step for me. I got into the game, and honestly, I fell in love with it very quickly. Everything about it resonated with me. I'm a miserable fuck, and I cannot think of any games more miserable than the Souls series. When I first played it though, I did something very illegal in the community. I played it with a mouse and keyboard. Yep, that's right. I didn't own a controller at the time, and I beat the entire game with it. With a lot of help, of course. There's a lot of stigma around the Souls community being this elitist crowd that gatekeep, but I've met some absolutely lovely people in the community. I mean, those shitty people are definitely there, but it seems to be a very vocal minority. And they're usually fans of Dark Souls too, I'm just saying. These people I met would always be there willing to tell me things and help me out with areas and bosses without any question, and I just had an incredible time playing through it. And after I eventually beat it for the first time, I played through it again, and again after that, and again after that. At this point, I have like 400 plus hours in the game, and I don't feel like any of that time was wasted. I treasure all the memories I made with Dark Souls 3. Now, this is a fairly generic thing to talk about with the abundance of videos about it, but Dark Souls 3 came at a pretty rough time in my life. I won't get into the issues, but playing the game always helped me feel stupendous on a rainy day. Overcoming all these challenges made me feel like I could do anything.
I just took a huge shit.
Eventually, after finishing the game like 50 times, I wanted more Dark Souls. I bloody craved it. So I got Dark Souls 1, 2, and Bloodborne. Not Demon Souls, because at the time it was fucking hard to get an actual copy of the game. The first one I played after Dark Souls 3 was Bloodborne. And to summarize, horrible frame rate aside, it was fucking brilliant. Still waiting on that PC port, by the way, Sony. Then after that, I played Dark Souls 2. Was Dark Souls 2, I guess. Listen, the game isn't bad, but like, it just doesn't compare to the others in the series. I'd still rather play it over these games though. I'm just saying. The final one I played was Dark Souls 1. Oh my god, Dark Souls 1. This game has held the space as my favorite game of all time for years now. I absolutely adore this game. Everything about it resonates with me on a personal level. Like I said, I love miserable shit. I'm a miserable person. I mean, you would be too if you lived in the United Kingdom. But Dark Souls is such a miserable game that gives you so much hope while playing it. Literally, if you haven't played Dark Souls 1 yet, go play it. Like I said, it's been my favorite game of all time, and I never thought anything could really take its place. Well, that was until... Yeah, this game is easily the game of the year for me. Maybe even game of the decade. Elden Ring is an open world game, and I fucking hate open world games. Now, this statement isn't actually true, especially now. I used to feel this way because it just felt like every open world game was just trying to be the next big barren checklist game, and they'd always use the size of their boring ass map as a unique selling point. It's like a bunch of insecure men comparing dick sizes. Ubisoft set a fucking standard for this shit with Assassin's Creed back in 2007, and I was just getting so fucking sick of it. Now, Elden Ring goes completely against all of that. It says, fuck your checklist missions, fuck your towers to reveal shit on the map, and fuck your barren, samey open world. Developers at Ubisoft and Guerrilla have been on extreme copium complaining about things in Elden Ring that make it way better than the uninspired shit they've made. For example, a quest log. Elden Ring doesn't have a quest log. There are no waypoints at all for the main objectives or side objectives, and I absolutely love this. It gives you the incentive to actually explore, rather than just following a line on your minimap. Who thought this was ever fucking fun? The world of Elden Ring feels like a large open world that's actually densely packed. Around every corner there is something to do, be it a dungeon, a cave, or maybe even a giant hand that scuttles after you. Wait, what the oh my god! I see a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild and how it took its approach to an open world, and honestly, I do see it. But I feel like Elden Ring truly mastered what Nintendo was trying to go for. Breath of the Wild was definitely held back by the fact they tried making an open world on something that's about as powerful as a modern phone. Also, it's not Majora's Mask, so I don't really like it. You can tell quite easily in Elden Ring where it is you need to go though. Throughout the entire game, you can see this big ass LED gamer tree, and you need to get there. I mean, it might as well be a big ass waypoint. You can also go to pretty high level areas at any point in the game too. For example, the infamous Caelid. If you know, you know. And I'm so sorry. In every region of the world, you can just see so much shit rendered in that you can actually explore. Well, for example, you can see Stormveil Castle pretty early. That is technically the main dungeon you need to go to straight away. Then you're supposed to go to the Academy of Raya Lucaria, which is clearly shown to the player right after completing Stormveil. But there's a catch. You can actually skip Stormveil Castle by just going down a little crevice at the side. They seriously put so much effort into all this skippable shit, it's insane. Wait, is the Academy skippable too? I always do it in my playthroughs. Please let me know if it's actually skippable. Did I also mention that there is an entire open area underground too? Literally one of these areas is only accessible by resting in a coffin by a waterfall that's quite hard to see in a boss arena, and they just have the courage to make this optional obscure area look visually outstanding. It even has a unique boss fight. I don't understand. The dungeons as a whole feel so finely crafted. If you're sick of the open world and want something more, well, Dark Souls-y, these are perfect. Stormveil Castle felt as big as the entirety of Lothric in Dark Souls 3. It's insane. The game would just never stop with showing me more and more awesome shit too. It just never ended. There was one time where I did this little puzzle in a hidden snowy area, and it took me to this giant fucking tree, which then led to a castle, which ended in the hardest optional boss in the entire game. What? They also seem to have taken a Dark Souls 1 and Orlando, can I even jump on this, approach to exploration in the dungeons of Elden Ring.
Get the fuck out my—
It feels like they crafted these environments before thinking of ways the player can explore, and none of these feel like game levels. They feel like actual established areas, which always makes them a blast to explore. Not one of them look or feel the same too, unlike the side dungeons. Some of them do kinda repeat near the end of the game, sadly, but it's nowhere near as bad as shit like the shrines in Breath of the Wild. They got visually boring after doing like 2 of them. One of my favorite dungeons is the Volcano Manor. The entire dungeon is hidden behind an illusionary wall. Why is this all hidden? Honestly, I just like lava places. And this place was just such a treat to explore. Also, did I mention this dungeon is entirely optional? Anyway, I just killed the fire giant in the mountain and now it's time to burn myself. This must be all the world has to show me now. I'm literally at the highest point of the game. This is like the perfect place to end the game. There can't be more. What the actual fuck? If you were to look at gameplay of Elden Ring, you'd probably think, yeah, it's just Dark Souls again. Now, you listen here. You aren't entirely wrong. But this isn't a bad thing at all. They took the Neo 2 approach where they just expanded on what already worked. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, there are quite a lot of things that Elden Ring adds to amplify the combat. For starters, the jump button. You're probably thinking, wait, what? The fuck does that have to do with combat? Well, there's a special attack you can do if you do a jump. Jump attacks. Oh yeah. There's more to it too. There's a stance meter for enemies and bosses similar to Sekiro, and if you build up that stance meter, it staggers them, opening them up for a lovely visceral attack. Jump attacks are super useful for this. Weapon arts make a huge return in this game too. They're now called Ashes of War, and you can actually mix and match them for some weapons. For example, I can add this move where I slice my hand and splash blood on enemies using my claymore. If I get a bit bored of this though, I could instead use this Ice Stomp attack, which completely breaks the game. Wait, what do you mean it was nerfed while I was writing the script? Let me see this. Oh shit. A small little detail I've noticed too with the weapons are they now have a 5th combo to them, which is always nice to do in a tight situation. In Dark Souls 3, the longsword only had 3 swings and then the animation would replay. But this inclusion of a 5th swing is really nice. They also made shields actually fun to use too. They added this whole guard counter mechanic. If you press the heavy attack right after an enemy hits your shield, you strike them back with a powerful hit. It's just satisfying shit. Horseback combat is also a thing. It's pretty good. It's not that deep though. They also made magic and faith builds fun to use. In other Souls games, magic as a whole was just kinda, I don't know. It was either overpowered or it was like slapping something with a wet tissue.
Fucking bloody bastard.
This is bullshit.
In Elden Ring though, there are so many fucking spells, literally 100 hours in, and I feel like I'm missing out on so many of them. Faith is usually my go-to, and in Elden Ring, they're called incantations, and holy fucking shit, they're awesome. They also combine pyromancy into the faith stat, so it's even more fun. On my first character, I got this one incantation from one of the bosses, which makes me bomb them with petals of scarlet rot. If you don't know what scarlet rot is, it's basically the main illness of the universe, caused by this bitch, but we'll get to her later. I'm basically just spreading around a horrible illness that's been plaguing the universe. It's kinda like... Is it still too soon to make this joke? I don't know. I recently started on a new character who focuses on madness incantations. Basically what this is you shoot shit out of your eyes that makes people go fucking crazy, including yourself. You have to use these powerful incantations carefully though, because if you spam them, your madness meter builds up and this sick animation plays of your character clenching his eyes, screaming in agony. Speaking of, he screams in agony when he uses the incantations too. It's pretty epic. I love watching my character suffer. Speaking of them suffering, they completely nerfed the roll. In Dark Souls 3, you could just spam roll and get away with literally anything. Even fucking tax fraud if you tried hard enough. You can't do that in Elden Ring, like, at all. One of the reasons is because you don't roll 100 miles in one roll anymore. You roll the distance of a normal human being. Not to mention, the game punishes the fuck out of you for spam rolling with a little old thing called delayed attacks. Not gonna lie, I fall for these still, and they are very abundant in boss fights. Speaking of the boss fights, they are always a huge part of From Software games. Some of the best boss fights of all time are from Software games, and Elden Ring definitely delivers. For the most part, at least. This game has the most boss fights out of any of their games, and almost all of the main and optional achievement bosses are fucking awesome. Except for you two. You two can rightfully fuck off. To be fair, every From Software game has some true stinker boss fights, so I can't hate these two too much. Aside from these two, all of the other main bosses are fucking awesome, like I said. For starters, the biggest roadblock in gaming history, Margit. So many new players just get the game and head straight for this guy, and he just absolutely slaps everyone's cheeks. He does not hold back, and I fucking love that. It tells the player to actually explore and level up to actually be able to face him with a decent chance of coming out on top. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll probably end up finding out you can skip him entirely. The same goes for Godric the Grafted. When I first played the game and faced this fucker, I didn't just get grafted by him. I got fucking shafted. That was a good one. Come on, that was a good joke. That was a good one. He does not mess around at all, especially with his second phase, where he literally cuts his arm off and straps a dragon head to his nub. It's just so fucking awesome. Did I mention you can entirely skip this? Speaking of skippable bosses, some of the hidden optional bosses have so much detail to them. For example, the infamous Radahn. You can only access this fella by doing a side quest for Ranni the Witch in the top left of Lunaria? Anyway, it's in a hidden castle full of terrifying hands, and behind another optional boss. Fucking hell, this game is huge. Radahn's boss fight is such a spectacle, and there is nothing like it in any other From Software game. You can summon a bunch of NPCs to fight this guy, and it just feels like an all-out war. I mean, that's if you can even reach him when you get in the area. This man has aimbot, I swear to God. The other infamous boss is Melania, Blade of... You know what? Fuck it. She says it every time she kills you. And she's gonna kill you a lot. This bitch is the nameless king of the game, and she does not fuck about. She's also the twat that gave General Radahn Scarlet Rot. I heard he was a lovely fella before that. She actually created Scarlet Rot in general, I think. Might need to wait for VartyVidya to confirm that one. The boss fight is kind of incredible. She may just be the hardest boss fight in any From Software game. For starters, her blade heals her. It fucking heals her. It doesn't help too that she's fast as fuck, so she can recover so much health if you get caught up in her attacks. Oh yeah, by the way, she has a second phase. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but if you're playing a From Software game and you encounter a humanoid boss in a flowery arena, you know you're fucked. The last boss fight I want to talk about is possibly the best dragon boss fight in any From Software game. They actually fucking nailed it. Fucking fine. I need to stop swearing. Dragon Lord Plas... What? This boss is very hidden for some reason. You have to jump down onto this pretty hidden platform and lay down in this spot here, and it plays an entire cutscene where time reverses and a tornado forms this absolutely gorgeous arena with the boss hanging there waiting for you. During its first phase, it's pretty simple, you know, it's a dragon, but once you hit the second phase, well, goddamn, he just vanishes. What a fucking pussy. Can't even handle a lowly tarnish like me beating his ass. Wait, what's that in the sky? Oh my god! Now, like I said earlier, the game delivers on boss fights for the most part. And I said for the most part because some of the dungeon and open world bosses are... shit like the Tree Sentinel are fucking awesome. But they make you fight two at the same time later. And it's just kind of shit. Feels a tad bit lazy. I mean, I always just run past them, to be fair. The dungeon bosses too can be quite shit because some of them are just normal enemies with boss health bars. To be fair on From Software, it would probably take them fucking ages to do. And it is an open world game, so I'll let them off. I'll let them off. It's not excusable in a pretty linear game though. God of War! Oh god. Oh, my throat. I'm not saying all of the dungeon bosses are bad though. Some of them are literally unique bosses that you can't find anywhere else in the game. And they're pretty awesome to fight. If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much. This is my first attempt at making a long form type of video on a game, and I wanted it to be on a game I absolutely love. This video took me ages to make, so I would really appreciate it if you left a like and Maybe comment down below what you think of the video, or what you think of Elden Ring if you've played it already. I really hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about Elden Ring and how much I adore it. I also hope it's convinced you to maybe try the game out. If you haven't played a Soulsborne game before, I definitely think this is a great jumping in point. So yeah, go buy the game. I guarantee it'll be worth it. Let's not forget that this is the most accessible game in the series, without having to pander to those fucking losers asking for an easy mode. I have friends who don't even enjoy Soulsborne games, who are having an absolute blast playing Elden Ring. Here, hold on, let me prove it to you. Sam?
Yeah.
You like Elden Ring, don't you?
Yeah.
See, I told you.